Thomas was alone. Wow, a weird first thought to have.
As described by itself, Thomas Was Alone is about 7 rectangles with very different relationships to gravity. The game, developed by British designer Mike Bithell, features a collection of 2D shapes jumping and falling their way through increasingly complex levels. They are given personality through exceptional narration from humorist Danny Wallace, and the tightly constructed levels and mechanics make Thomas Was Alone a joy to play. Thomas Was Alone is a masterclass in platformer level design. Stages are meticulously constructed around characters' jump heights and fall distances, but still allow for multiple approaches to each situation. You can trust the game, knowing it won't let you fail unfairly, or put you in a position in which you can't progress. Like Super Meat Boy, the simplicity of the mechanics allows for a direct line between your thoughts and the on-screen action, making navigating through the game's levels immediate and satisfying. Switching between characters usually works too, but can be fiddly, especially when you have 7 characters to cycle through. Using the keypad is slightly better, but positioned awkwardly in relationship to the rest of the control keys. With so few mechanics, Thomas Was Alone uses every element to its fullest extent. The camera glides over each of the levels as they begin, and always shows you exactly what you need to see at exactly the right time. The game also pushes its mechanics as far as they can go, with the smallest of interactions becoming central on later levels. Nothing becomes stale, however, as Bithell knows just how much of an element is enough before moving on to something new. The levels soon feel like something to be assembled. Like a jigsaw puzzle, you can see all the pieces, you just need to figure out how they fit together. New dynamics continue to form across the game's length, and peak in a series of levels that will have you platforming like never before, in a Portal-like wow moment. Everything is built on top of an established logic, and it's this philosophy that carries you through a game that goes on slightly longer than it should. New characters are introduced quite late into the game, and participate in a plot separate to the main one. It doesn't destroy the overall experience, but it does feel like a slightly unnecessary epilogue. The game isn't particularly difficult, but this is more due to a well-constructed pace and learning curve than a lack of challenge. Hints are provided by the game's narrator, which also injects the characters with personalities, hopes, dreams, and insecurities.
Classic death, she supposed. Wait, what? Claire couldn't shake the feeling that she was not, in fact, dead. It was at that moment that Claire realised she had superpowers.
This implied narrative is much more satisfying than the front-end plot of rogue AIs and computer networks, which may be inaccessible or at least less interesting to those unfamiliar with those kind of terms and ideas. The marriage of narration and mechanics creates a story of acceptance, where everyone has a place and everyone is useful. Themes of self-esteem, relationships, and body image also emerge, and just enough visual feedback, such as a slight squish when jumping, is given to make these rectangles more than just moving shapes. The backgrounds too are given just enough detail to remain interesting, without being distracting. Bithell gets as much out of his visuals as he does his mechanics, with every jump creating a charming play between light and shadow. David Houston's music score begins as haunting and lonely, but soon provides an aesthetic of wonder and joy, especially when new characters are introduced. A central theme also persists, and new elements like piano and drums arise to punctuate important moments. It's a fitting soundtrack and resonates in your mind as much as it does with the mechanics and visuals. As described by its creator, Thomas Was Alone is about friendship and jumping. The description is minimal, sure, but that's what the game is. It's about getting as much as you can out of what you have. Thomas Was Alone doesn't aspire to be anything other than what it is, and it doesn't need to be. It's a small game with a big heart, and it deserves to be played.
He was alone. Leaping from black square to black square didn't seem nearly as exciting now. It just seemed empty.